As a 2-year-old, but has been very much on the improve this spring and has scored big wins in his last 2 outings, including a 4-length victory in the Flamingo. Trainer Wayne Lucas.
I think Badgerland is a horse that's improving. He's coming to the race well, and every year we're optimistic, and we're really optimistic this year.
Ferdinand is a grandson of Northern Dancer, the world's finest sire. He's finished in the money in all 4 starts this year, but hasn't won since the 29th of January at Santa Anita. Ridden by 54-year-old Bill Shoemaker, he's trained by 73-year-old West Coast legend Charlie Whittingham, who last came to the Derby in 1960 and had as extremely promising but erratic. Named for a 1954 movie starring Clark Gable, Mogambo is owned by Peter Brandt, a prominent polo-playing Connecticut paper manufacturer, who was a part owner of 84 Derby winner Swale. His trainer is Leroy Jolly, who's looking for his 3rd Derby victory and who sums up Mogambo their starts, despite his tendency to loaf on the lead. Bred in Maryland, Broad Brush comes to Louisville on the heels of a big win at the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct 2 weeks ago. Looking for his 5th straight stakes win, he's trained by a superstitious 40-year-old former...
Again is 54-year-old Bill Shoemaker. Number 2 is Mogambo, one of the favorites here, trained by Leroy Jolly, the only trainer who has won this Derby among those in the race today. He won it twice with Foolish Pleasure and Genuine Risk. The rider both times was today's rider, Jacinto Vasquez. Here's the English horse, Bold Arrangement, being walked by his trainer, Clive Britton, there on the near side, and on the other side of the horse is his lad. That's what they call grooms back in England. Number 4 is Vernon Castle, winner of the California Derby, named after the great dancer of the 19-teens and 20s. Vernon and Irene Castle was the partnership. Number 5, Rampage, winner of the Arkansas Derby. He's the one they call Rambo because he's so tough. There is Rampage, a Florida bred. 8 horses in the field are non-Kentucky breds. Let's move on to number 6, the Pride of Maryland, Broad Brush, Bob Meyerhoff's horse, trained by Dick Small, ridden by Vince Bracciale Jr., a very talented Maryland jockey. He's held at 14 to 1 now. Number 7 will be the second favorite, it appears at the moment, Badgerland. That's the Lucas horse, ridden by the remarkable and the redoubtable George Velasquez, one of the top jockeys of his generation.
Here we come to the running of the 112th Kentucky Derby, one of my favourites, won by Ferdinand. Just watch how it comes from last and circles the whole field. Absolute brilliant win and a sensational ride by Bill Shoemaker. Watch when he comes to the turn. Any jockey like Josh Parr or Frankie Dettori would go 10 wide on the corner, but not the shoe. The shoe cuts back inside. It's such a cool ride, absolutely beautiful ride. So here's the running of the 112th Kentucky Derby in 1986.
He is owned by... He'd never return until he thought he had a horse that could win. He thinks that Ferdinand can win this race today, and a lot of other people agree with him. It's about ready to go into the gate as the crowd begins to build. We have a microphone on the starter, Tom Wagoner. Want to hear some of those sounds. Number 2 moving in, Mogambo, 3rd favorite in the race, ridden by Jacinto Vasquez.
All right,
that is Leroy Jolly's horse. Assistant trainers, underrated people. That's a dangerous job. Number 12 going in now. Remember, the post positions are different than the numbers. That's wise times. Here comes Bold Arrangement, the English horse, with a mind of his own. Number 13, Icy Groom, Eddie Mapleoff. He's never won the Derby. Number 14, Southern Appeal. He would be the longest shot in the race, remember. Jesse Davidson aboard. Another Maryland bred. Number 4, Vernon Castle, California Derby winner. Broad Brush. Badgerland, second favorite. Wheatley Hall. If there's a long shot that could win, he's the one, I think. Snow Chief now, here's the favorite. And Bachelor Beau. long shot, won the Bluegrass, front runner. Lots of speed on the outside, remember. They'll have to break fast to go for that clubhouse turn. That's Groovy, another speed horse. You'll really see them moving. Here's Zabaleta, yet another speed horse. Now, up top, waiting to call the race for us is Mike Battaglia. Mike?
Thank you, Jim. They're almost in. They're at the post. And they're off. Breaking for the lead from the outside, Bachelor, Beau, and Groovy. Also from the outside, Zabaleta, Snow Chief between horses. Then Vernon Castle. Down the stretch for the first time, Groovy has the lead by a length. Zabaleta is second, Bachelor, Beau third, a length to Snow Chief fourth. Gap of 4, Vernon Castle, 5th, by ahead, Southern Appeal, 6.5 length, Broad Brush is 7. Between horses, Wheatley Hall runs 8. Up from the outside, Badgerland is 9th. Moving on to the back stretch, it's Groovy by a length. Zabaleta second, length and a half. Bachelor, Beau third ahead, Snow Chief fourth, gap of 5. Southern Appeal now runs 5th. Length of Broad Brush in 6th, Wheatley Hall 7th, by ahead, Vernon Castle 8th. 3 lengths to Badgerland running 9th. Down along the inside, Rampage 10th. Bold Arrangement is 11th. Also up from the inside, that's Wise Time. They're moving for the turn. Groovy on the inside has a head in front. Zabaleta second, a length. Snow Chief is gaining ground. Those 3 are right together. Bachelor, Beau fourth. Into the turn, Zabaleta head in front, Snow Chief second. Gap of 2. From the inside, Wheatley Hall third ahead, Broad Brush fourth ahead, Badgerland on the extreme outside. They're moving for the stretch. Snow Chief, Broad Brush on the outside, Badgerland, all 3 horses together. Also gaining ground, that's Bold Arrangement. They're into the stretch, it's Badgerland on the outside. On the inside, Bold Arrangement. Here comes Ferdinand on the rail. In the final furlong, it's Ferdinand getting the lead. On the outside, Bold Arrangement and Broad Brush. Nearing the wire, it's Ferdinand in front. On the outside, Bold Arrangement. Under the wire, Ferdinand under Bill Shoemaker wins the Derby by 2. Broad Brush finishes second, a photo for third. And Ferdinand under Bill Shoemaker, the master, wins the Kentucky Derby, running time 2:02 4/5. Back to you, Jim McKay.
And there is Charlie Whittingham wearing the tweed hat. He's finally done it at the age of 73. He's won the Kentucky Derby. Ferdinand, the unofficial winner of the Kentucky Derby. The unofficial second, Bold Arrangement, the English horse. And the unofficial third, as I saw it, was Broad Brush from Maryland. A photo for third, however. And everything still unofficial. What a horse race it was. 2:02 4/5, well off the track and race record of the great Secretariat, 1:59 2/5. Bill Hartek, this was a cavalry charge coming down right about here.
Yes, it sure was. It looked like Snow Chief had a lot left turning for home, but then here came the stampede. I'll tell you one thing, that horse Badgerland ran a terrific race. He was completely wiped out leaving the gate, and of course Ferdinand going around this turn by me was absolutely last. Had a good trip in the race. Broad Brush ran gamely, and the Invader from England also ran a heck of a race, but Ferdinand was just too good for him.
He certainly was today, and by the way, the dosage index has held up once again. Not since 1927 has a horse with a dosage index of more than 4 won this race. Snow Chief, the favorite, had an index of 5.0. So there was the finish, and here is Snow Chief being ridden back by jockey Alex Solis. Let's go to Charlesy now.
Nobody can imagine how much pleasure I got out of doing this interview right here with Bill Shoemaker, lucky number 4. How does this one feel, Bill?
This feels better than any of them, really. So happy for Charlie and happy for myself.
Yeah. The pace set up for you well, yes?
Yes, I got pinched back in the beginning, but it didn't bother me. I just took my time, and he ran a great race.
Does this one feel better than any of the others?
You betcha.
Congratulations, Bill Shoemaker.
As we look back at this ISO, Shoe comes out at number 1. And a good point is that number 1 is not bad.
2, 3 is not bad ordinarily because you're down on a rail, you don't have to move your position. But number 1 here, with all those horses on the outside, they tend to squish you into the rail. This is Shoe, and his horse seems like he's really running off with him. He's been working well around here, and he does end up last around this first turn. Shoe has never left the rail. He's hopeful for a fast pace, and the fast pace did materialize. They went the first quarter of a mile in 22-1, and that's realistically fast. Now he's coasting down the backside. He's already last. Shoe's not going to make any dumb moves from here on. He's already last. He's got to wait. Hope that the pace sort of knocks these other horses out of commission, softens them up for him later on. Now he's moving in between horses right now. He's still in the rear of the pack. Shoe has got good room to move, and he's slowly letting his horse wind up. Now they progress down the backside. Of course, the front runners, the leaders, are still setting a fast pace. They went 45 and a fraction. And if you see right at the top of your screen is bold arrangement, he's also made a move a little bit in front of Bill Shoemaker, who is now starting to wind up again too. Now they get into that turn. He did run a tremendous race, because coming from that far back, even regardless of a fast pace, is a tremendous effort. Shoemaker kind of picks his way around a horse or two, and I do believe he drops in here and splits horses. Goes around right here. Now he's in behind a wall of horses. Snow Chief down there on the rail is starting to tire. Shoemaker split horses, and his horse is full of run. Broadbrush is trying to give him a challenge, and of course Bold Arrangement there, third on the outside, has made a good run at him too. Badgerland had the unfortunate misfortune of being really bothered leaving the gate. Shoe's driving at the finish, and he tears him up.
You know, you may wonder why